Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm starting my overlanding journey with my third gen Toyota Tacoma. I am so excited to start this journey. I bought this 2023 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road last January, and I've been wanting to do some things to it. Since that time, I've really gotten into watching a lot of the Overland videos, and when I was a kid growing up, we did all of that. We went off-road, and we had 4x4 vehicles, and we had a blast doing it. I bought the Tacoma with the intention of getting into the overlanding world, but it took a while. Here's what I want to say that I really want to do. I want to get this thing ready to go on trails, off-road, little bit of water. I'm not interested in doing the rock climbing or any of that stuff. I just want to be able to go off-road, have a good time, maybe do some camping. Who knows? I've never been a camper in my life, but things change, and who knows? You might want to get into some stuff like that. So I wanted to build this Tacoma, and it's taken me a little while to get started. The move from California back to Nashville, work has me crazy, flying all over the country, and I just hadn't had time. But I knew that a little bit of a break over the holidays was going to give me a chance to do it. So I started getting online and looking at all the different options. Now, if you're in the same boat as me, you'll realize that every single person that talks about these trucks and building them for overlanding and getting bigger tires and wheels, everybody has a different opinion. So after watching 357,451 videos, just joking, I watched a lot, probably just like you. It seemed to me that there was a consensus that if you didn't want to do a lift and you don't want to have to trim or do anything, the biggest tire size you can go with is 275/77 So that's what I ordered. BF Goodrich KO2's. I love those tires. I've got them on a Jeep Rubicon. Love them. I wanted them on my Tacoma. So I ordered them. And that means going up to a 17-inch wheel as well. Well, go back a year when I bought my Tacoma. There was a particular color that I really wanted that the dealer didn't have, and they didn't know when they were going to get, but they had this silver one, the one that I bought. Well, in a moment of clarity, I told the sales guy, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and buy the silver one if you will throw the 17-inch TRD Pro wheels off of the 2023 4Runner in. I didn't like the TRD Pro wheels that came on the Tacoma, but I love the ones that came on the 4Runner. I said, look, I'll go ahead and buy the color that I don't want if you'll throw the wheels in for free. He said, done. So they gave me the wheels. And so I've had them for almost a year, and I finally ordered the tires. Now, also, a little hint here. My plan all along was to wrap this truck, so I didn't really care that I didn't get the other color. But I made him think that I did, and it got me a brand new set of 17-inch TRD Pro 4Runner wheels from 2023. So I was good negotiating power. Always negotiate. So yeah, I am going to wrap the truck at some point. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. So finally, about 3 weeks ago, I said enough of this watching videos of other people building their trucks and having a good time. It's time for me to start. So I ordered the 275/77 BF Goodrich KO2's, and I have the brand new set of TRD Pro wheels. So they came in, I had them put on. I was so excited. Picked it up from, I had Firestone do the mountain balancing and everything for me. It was great. Cost $140 for them to mount the new tires on the new wheels, mountain balance, put them on the truck, and do all that. That was cool. I don't have room to do it. I don't have tools to do it. They did it. They did a great job. Pulled out of the parking lot of Firestone, made a pretty hard right turn, and heard the rub. And I'm like, wait a minute. I watched lots of YouTube videos. They said 275/77 won't rub. It rubs. So I thought, okay. So I got out, turned, and meanwhile, doing all of this while there's, 8 inches of snow and ice on the ground here in Nashville. It's 15 degrees. It's freezing. I've got motorcycles and all that stuff in one garage, and I've got all the stuff from our house in California in the other garage. So I'm going to have to do this thing in the parking lot. So with all the ice and everything, I'm moving everything around, and I start turning the wheel, getting under there, and I see where it rubs, and it looks as though it's rubbing where the mud flaps are. I've watched a lot of videos where guys will say right there at the back of the wheel well and the fender flare, some of them cut this little piece out. That's where they find out that it's rubbing. I also realized that's on a lot of people who are buying 285 7017s. I went with 275 7017s. So I thought, okay, I guess let's do what we got to do. Let's take off the mud flaps, and hopefully that eliminates the rub and we don't have to do any more trimming. We don't have to do any more cutting. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to head out to the garage. We're going to grab the tools. I'm going to try to pull the truck in as far into the garage as I possibly can because it is very cold outside. There's ice and snow everywhere. Grab the tools, take those off, and see if we can eliminate the rub without having to do any more cutting. By the way, guys, if you enjoy this video, please drop a like down there on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Tons of content. More motorcycle content is coming. More overlanding content is coming. A ton of stuff. I'm so excited about 2024, but drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Especially if you're in this overlanding world and you know a lot more about this than I do. Give me some suggestions on what you think I ought to do to this Tacoma. All right, let's head to the garage. All right, so we're done with the driver's side, taking the front mud flap and the rear mud flap off. Pro tip, don't do this in winter. It's like 15 degrees outside. I've got the truck partially pulled into the garage. I've got both the motorcycles over here. Do this in spring or summer. When it's nice and warm, you can get outside. As you can see, doing these sides, I didn't have gloves on. My fingers were about to absolutely freeze off. So if you're going to do this in winter, make sure you've got a nice warm place to do it, or you got a set of gloves. I had to stop and get some gloves. All right, I'm hoping this is going to solve our rubbing problem with these new tires. If it doesn't, we're going to have to do a little bit of trimming. That's okay, I don't mind. I love the way that it looks and the stance that it gives the third gen Tacoma. It's worth doing a little bit of trimming if we have to. So, all right, let's hop over to the passenger side, take the front and the rear off, and then cross our fingers and see, hopefully, if that eliminates the rub problem. And if not, we got to do a little trimming. Let's go. right, so that passenger front, because of all the snow and ice we've been getting here in Nashville lately, I guess a bunch of dirt and grime had gotten up in that screw area, and that was a devil to get off. So I think it's time for a smoke break before we do the back. All right, so now we've successfully taken off both of them on the passenger side. I will say, I think the easiest one to take off so far has been the passenger rear. So we've got them off. Now let's hop in the truck, take it for a little bit of a spin, see if we still are getting any of that rubbing. If we're still getting the rubbing, then we're gonna have to do some trimming. Let's hop in the truck. All right, so we are in the truck. And I kept it running while I did all that. Man, it's nice and toasty in here. Out there, it's not so much. My Apple Watch says it's 15 degrees. The Tacoma says it's 16 degrees outside. So let's pull out of the garage. We're gonna make a couple loops, some tight turns, see if we still hear that rubbing sound that we were hearing before. Fingers crossed that we don't. That was a good sound. Let me pull this up so I can actually hear a little bit. We're going to turn off everything. Okay. So good so far. Ooh, when I pulled in here and had the flaps on, I heard definite rubbing. There was no rubbing that time. Boy, I'm hoping this solves the whole problem and just taking the mud flaps off. I really don't want to go to cutting on the fender flare, but I will if I have to. Here comes a pretty tight corner. No rubbing. Guys, I think that may have solved the problem. Put the seatbelt on or it's gonna hate us and blink at us and beep at us forever. There are no words that will explain how happy I am if that literally solved the entire problem and we don't have to do the little trimming part right on the back side. The front clearance was never a problem. It was really only the back. Okay, we're gonna intentionally make a no rubbing. No rubbing. I'm going to take another really, really tight turn here. I just fully turned the wheel all the way, zero rubbing. Zero. Guys, I also need to explain. You haven't watched a lot of my videos, especially motorcycles. I am not mechanically inclined. I don't know how to work on cars. I don't know how to do anything. I'm trying to get better. It feels good to get your hands dirty. So I'm trying to do better about learning how to do some of this stuff myself, especially getting into the overlanding stuff. Guys, we've got zero rubbing. Zero rubbing. I'm gonna do another really tight turn here. Zero rubbing. One more really tight turn here. Zero rubbing. Oh, man, you have no idea how happy that makes me. All right, we're gonna hop out of the truck, wrap this video up. I'm gonna give you the tire size that I got, go over everything that we had to do to make sure that these tires wouldn't rub. There's a lot of stuff out there on YouTube. A lot of it is wrong. but I'm gonna tell you what worked for me. So let's hop in the studio. Okay guys, we did it. Man, that feels good. So no rub whatsoever. The tires that I got, again, are the BF Goodrich KO2's 275/70/17. The rims are the TRD Pro 17-inch rims. I told you that story at the beginning, how I got those. But yeah, I'm pumped up. Look, I watched so many YouTube videos on 3rd gen Tacomas, find out what's the biggest wheel and tire combination you can put on there without doing a lift and without rubbing. I found 100,000 different answers. The one that seemed to stick with everybody though was in fact that you could do 275/70/17s without a lift and without it rubbing when you get them on there. I don't know if it's just my truck, but I can attest that is not true. On my truck, when I put the 275/70/17s, BF Goodrich, it was rubbing on the mud flaps. It wasn't rubbing in the wheel well, the fender flare, any of that area. There's a little bit of a thickness that the mud flaps add. That's where it was rubbing. You saw us, we took them off. We went around, tight turns. I mean, I've turned the wheel the entire way and absolutely zero rubbing. So if you're out there and you want to get into building your Tacoma and you're like, okay, I've got a 3rd gen, what's the biggest tires and that I can put on this thing without having to do a lift, without any rubbing? I'm probably gonna say the 265/70/17s probably would not have rubbed at all, but I highly recommend going ahead and going with the 275/70/17 and just take your mud flaps off. For me, that eliminated 100% of the rub. So I'm really pumped about that. This is the beginning of the build. I wanna do a bed deck, all kinds of cool stuff to this truck and starting my overland journey. Like I said, I'm just getting into this. So if you guys have any suggestions whatsoever on, sorry, it's freaking cold. If you guys have any suggestions, you've been down this road, you've been upgrading your Tacomas and you've been in overlanding, drop those down in the comments below. Let me know what you think I ought to do next. So many plans, but wheels and tires, check. Maybe somewhere down the road we'll do a lift. I'm not that really concerned about a lift right now. I'm not gonna do rock crawling or any of that kind of stuff. Back roads, gravel, maybe a little bit of water. So maybe a lift, I don't know. But if you got some suggestions, be sure to drop them down in the comments section below. I appreciate you guys for checking out this video. I know it's not a motorcycle video, as you can see. We've still got the Pan America, we've got the Street Glide, and we've got a ton of parts over here for the Pan America. We've got the Zumo XT that we've got to get put on. We've got bark busters that we got to get put on. We've got the blacked out windshield. We got the tank bag. Bunch of stuff that we got to get put on this bike, and those videos are coming as well. So thank you guys for being here. Like I said, any overlanding ideas that you have, drop them down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video.